Someday you're gonna realize what you lost in me. No way you're gonna keep me insecure. When the sun comes up, but your lights go out, who's gonna figure it out? Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Lyrically Lydia, the show made for musicians by a musician, the show made for music lovers by a music lover. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about what the heck do musicians do all day? How do we make a living? Today I'm bringing on a special guest who you've met before, Freddie Atlas. Let's welcome him to the show and let's have some fun. Yo!
What's up?
Hey! Alright, so today is mad informal and I want to just chat. Because I feel it deeply in my bones and in my soul that people don't really understand what we do. And I wanted to just bring you on to give the people some information. You into that today? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Come through.
So, basically, all my life, all right, people have been like, yo, what do you even do? Why do you want to do music? There's nothing in music. You're not going to make any money. You don't have a job. And that's really not true. And I think I wanted to have this kind of conversation because, especially in recent years, now that I'm getting older and everything, and, unless you're famous, people think you're not doing anything. And I get a lot of comments, right?
And you're not bringing revenue or you're not. It's oh, she doesn't have her shit together, he or she, Yeah, totally.
And it's really not true. So yeah, I want to know from you, I wanted to talk about let's talk about maybe our daily routines. What do you find yourself doing every day, in your work week? What's your work day look like,
Yeah, every day. Usually, I make sure I practice. Probably 80% of my time is done on learning new stuff and practicing. Yeah. I would say I definitely practice. I try to practice every day, my vocals.
Yeah.
So I try to hone in on those skills a lot. I think it's a lifetime kind of thing. So specifically, yeah, I will work on technique probably 30 to 40 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And then on either instruments, piano or voice. Yeah, I would say my routine is revolved around mostly this. The rest is auditions because I do voiceover.
Yeah.
So I would say auditions for whatever is sent to me. And then if I get a placement, I structure my day around it. So I warm up before, I read the scripts and all that stuff.
I find myself doing the same. For example, my day is it's a bit different, but at the same time, I'm basically I wake up, I check my email. I hate that.
Yeah.
I always got emails. It's really annoying. And I really hate emails. I hate answering emails because I'm I get so anxious of writing the wrong thing or writing a typo or something. So I lie in bed and I check my email. I'll write back. And then I'm working for this label. So I'm checking out what I have to do for them if I have to write a song. I also work with some other producers and stuff to write songs. If I'm not writing a song, for example, today I didn't have to write anything. I needed to learn how to do some different video editing things because I'm gonna make my own music video because #quarantine. But it's you're saying, it's every day there's just something going on. There's never a day where look at me. There's never a day where you just can chill because you always have something you have to do. I know that you also you have your website. We always have to update our website. Updating the website or recreating the website takes an entire day, sometimes 2 days. Yeah, it takes so long because you also have to compile all of your photos. You have to take photos. Social media in and of itself is a job. It's a damn job, okay?
Yeah.
And it's annoying. And I don't feel like posting my thirst traps, okay?
Yeah. Totally.
I want to chill and look dusty, but I can't.
I know, same.
nobody will look at my stuff. Actually, I get so much work. I
Hmm.
get so much work from my social media, yo. Like, I don't know if you
Yeah,
like
like
also like,
I'm sure for like your videos, for instance, doing like thumbnails and just like you have to ask yourself the question, what is the best thumbnail? What is the message? I can't just post a selfie or a snapshot of the video. It should be more like integral of what the video is.
yep,
And what's hard also is like kind of like the Woody Allen effect, where it's like I'm part of this project, but I also direct and I
yep,
also, and it's like at this one point it becomes very like incestuous, just like, well, I acted, directed, song wrote,
yeah,
produced, and it's like sometimes you have no perspective, and that's
yeah.
what takes time, I think, for me. Like, it's like, oh, does this look good? And then you ask people around that like are professionals in that, and it's just like, how does that feel? How does that, it's like social media is, yeah. Uh,
It's the
uh,
whole
yeah.
situation. I think a lot of times, like, you get overloaded because since the job is freelance, you have to do, for example, you do voiceover, but you're
Mhm.
also in a writing group, so you have to write things for people. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to plan your week out, and sometimes you have to take like half of the day or your morning to just plan how you're gonna do stuff. If you don't plan your week, you don't have anything done.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think yeah, like part of being a musician, especially in like our days, where it's more we have to have a generic kind of outlook on things and not very specific. You're not only a singer, you're a producer, you do a lot of stuff. So I think
Tap dance and
to
all.
switch, yeah. Yeah, I think to uh
Lord. Okay, what parallels can you like draw between like our profession and like any other?
I think one of the biggest similarities is that, or it, hopefully we kind of like let's address the myth of kind of the natural musician. It's like people
Come
have,
through. That's what I wanted to get it. Come
yeah.
through.
So uh, I think, and I'm sure you think that way too. That, and correct me if I'm wrong. That literally people think that when you go to a concert or when you go and hear a finished product, I think part of the job is to create the illusion that it was easy. So,
Yeah.
but hours and hours were behind this.
Yes.
You have to repeat a certain task or do certain things so many times so it feels right, so it feels like you're doing it correctly. It's like, a circus, or whatever, visual art, that it's like there is technique. We as
Yep.
musicians, we shape sounds. We didn't wake up one day and we're like, let's go. It's
Right.
like, okay, my range feels weird here, or my sound doesn't necessarily come off as natural here. What can I do? And we don't have answers.
Yeah.
The only thing we can rely on is practice, technique, figuring shit out. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of people think that, oh, like Ariana Grande is just a natural singer, or this person is just a natural singer, or that's just what they do. Like, if every people in that profession are prodigies, that it's just, oh, they showed up like this and that's what they do, and I think that's how do you say, like,
The biggest misconception.
yeah, it's the biggest misconception. It's not necessarily cool to be seen that way, but that's part of the work, to create an illusion,
Yeah.
of like of it's like models or painters. It looks easy, it looks cool, it looks uh
Effortless.
it's attractive in a non like sexual way, but like the sound is attractive, I like what I hear, I feel a certain way. All of this is not created on the spot, it's not just an
Mhm.
idea, it's thought out. So hours and hours go behind this, and I think in a certain way what's parallel between any other jobs is time. I mean, time wise, we have spent countless hours trying to
Yeah.
like figure stuff out. And I think there's a stereotype of you know, kind of like lazy musicians. It's like, yeah, yeah, I'll make it, and like inflated ego, where I think most of our time is being insecure about what we're doing and trying to be better every day. I think like that's that's part of the you know,
Yeah.
our cross to bear, because
Right.
a lot
And
of it
also,
is,
there's like this idea, I hear this a lot of this sentence, like, you must feel so happy to do what you love every single day. And I have to burst people's bubbles a lot because I'm like, I ain't doing what I love every day.
yeah,
I want to walk 5 minutes down the road. I want to have one bag, and that's my, Louis Vuitton, honey. Okay.
Celine
I want to
bag
show up at
swag.
the gig and throw off a fur coat and say, I've arrived, darling.
Right.
Unfortunately, that ain't how it is, because that would be my jam. I wake up in the morning, heart racing, pounding, because I know I have so much stuff to do. And a lot of stuff is stuff I really don't want to do. And a lot of stuff is okay, it's stuff that I don't mind doing. And a lot of stuff is there are those moments though that I'm really excited to work on something. My objective is always the end goal. I'm always focused on the people that I'm working with. If I'm creating something for somebody or for somebody's vision or project, I'm thinking more about I want to make them satisfied. I want to show them the best of my abilities because I have agreed to offer them this service, right? This
Mhm.
is my business. So every day in your business, when you have your own business, you're not thinking, wow, I'm excited to get up every day and like, I don't know,
It,
trim the hedges outside or like, clean the shelves and like, or put
mhm.
up this new sign by myself, a friend. Like, no, I'm not excited
I'm
about that.
busy. I'm busy. It's not,
Yeah,
yeah, part of it is passion, but I think that a lot of it is coordinating. A lot of it is figuring stuff out as you go. A
yeah.
lot of it is, you know, showing up and
Doing your job.
doing your job, you know, like it's stressful. I would say like pretty much every time I do voiceover, even though it's voiceover, there's a lot of preparation. Like I did what is it, a commercial for what is it, like Amazon, like, you know, a lot of it becomes like stressful because there's, I mean, that one was in French, but it's like there's translators on the line, there's producers, there's people from the company, there's like, you know,
Yeah,
so I do what I like, but at the same time, there's a lot of charge that's stressful, and I think that's overlooked from people that look from the outside.
yeah,
But it's a very tangible system in the way that like we handle our day, just like the same
absolutely.
as any other job. There's a lot of like,
There's a
you know,
lot of crazy going on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you experience this, but I just have had, like, as I said in the beginning, a lot of people telling me crazy junk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people will say things like, oh, good, so good. Like, I remember this one person telling me, it's so good that you have a boyfriend so that they can pay for your life. And I was like, who is paying for my life? Who?
right,
Well, if you know how to get his money like that, you're gonna have to tell me because I
yeah.
have not found the way. Like,
Honestly, reflecting a lot on kind of uh, like what happens to me, I think that I feel I've benefited a lot from like the male privilege in that sense, that
mm,
if I just like stand tall and just like look confident, people don't ask that many questions about it, and it's more of like, oh wow, that's cool, rather than like, what are you doing, scrutinizing and just like trying to figure out your uh what is it, your like financial status about it. And I
so like
realized,
nobody's
and
ever asked you like how much money do you make or like how do you make
yeah,
money stuff.
but not in a way that's very doubtful.
Really?
No. Yeah. So I think like listening to a lot of my female counterparts,
Yeah.
especially POC artists, are not very taken seriously
Mm,
in that like art form or that craft,
yeah.
and it's a little disheartening. And I feel there's a lot of doubt, and there's a lot of discredibility associated with like women in like arts,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's necessarily cool, but I think there's a solution to it. But it's just, I think we live in a society that is afraid of powerful women, is afraid of
Speak on
powerful
it.
POC artists. And I think that digging a lot, like, what do? Like, you have a boyfriend that like pays for you, comes a lot from, I feel kind of threatened, or I feel like something is not right because I wouldn't do it myself, and I want to prove myself that what I'm doing is worthy. I think it's subconscious codes, but
Okay, I could see that.
I think in a certain way, what happens is that people mine like these jobs, but it's just, I don't know. But
Insecurity, you say?
it's insecurities, but I think the message behind it is that there is something special. And if people pitied, like, for instance, that person, if that person really pitied you, they wouldn't be
Saying that
saying
crazy.
these kinds of comments. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? 'Cause if they were really worried about your financial aspect, they would be a little more caring and gentle with that. But like
totally.
I feel a lot of comments like this come from this place of, I don't know what it is, so let me attack it.
Totally.
And
Yeah. So, my other question.
yes,
What to you, like, I don't even know the answer to this. I've been thinking about it. What separates, like, a hobbyist from a professional?
good question. I think that a hobbyist, exactly like the comment that you said, that, oh, you get to do 100% of your passion every day, that would be a hobby.
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't like engineering. I don't like uh, doing like photo shoots. I'm very like self-conscious. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. But I have to do it in order to make this a business,
Yes.
So in a certain way, I think a hobbyist gets to do only what they like to do,
Yeah.
versus a professional makes the commitment and puts the time in doing things that are uncomfortable.
Okay. What last question is, what do you think is the importance of having artistic careers?
Great question. I think that, and I'm speaking in a general sense,
Yeah.
I think that politics, and I mean that in a generic, like, world politics
Mm.
sense, are not necessarily doing the job of doing what is morally right,
Yeah.
and so, like, take coronavirus, for instance. A lot of it has been a politic response,
Yeah.
just like, no,
It's
we're
been
doing
politicized.
well, but in the end, people are dying, which is very serious. And so I think that in a certain way, artists are the comeback, and are the true essence of bringing ideas first.
Yeah.
And because artists have to be sensitive, artists have to be, like, my impression first. This is my impression. This is my message, and it's very
Yeah.
unique, and it doesn't necessarily cater for votes. It doesn't necessarily cater for love and acceptance. It's just a spray of like truth,
Yeah.
personal truth. But at the same time, a lot of these personal truth eventually change the world. And I think that that's what artists, like, their essential job is to bring awareness and bring, I mean, of course, entertainment and all that stuff, but also
Yeah.
in the end to bring people together to their own kind of like humanity and their own heart, because it's
Yeah.
like what's happening out there is not necessarily morally right, and
Yeah.
artists are here to make the difference.
We always hear appreciation, and we should feel appreciation towards, kind of the exalted professions like,
Mhm.
judge, lawyer, doctor, businessman of some sort, businesswoman, whatever. Yes, sure. However, I think that the one thing people forget And the one thing that people easily discard is art when it is the first thing that they consume every day.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
the one thing that they use all the time.
Exactly. Content is what people, it helps them shape their minds, shape their expectations. They respond to it, they agree, they don't, Content is very complicated. It's very hard for some. It's very, it depends. But I think that if we think very, very long term too, like short term, yeah, people consume content every day. But long term too, I think that artists are early lawmakers because they change the minds of people. They bring empathy. When you watch a TV show that has an LGBT character, for instance, that someone who doesn't understand at all what it is gets a glimpse of their life, for instance, it can bring them empathy and eventually change their minds on the oppression of certain groups, or I think it's super important, and people forget that we're emotional carvers, and it's a really delicate and mindful and constant job because things change every day, and you just want to make the world a better place.
Well, yeah, that's kind of it. I just want to, chat about those things so that one less person at an event will say, "Ooh, starving artist. You should take it seriously."
Actually, you should look at my bank account.
Actually, you should put some respect on my name. Anything you want to add?
Thank you for speaking to me and bringing me on board with the, Lyrically Lydia convention.
Thank you for hanging out with me. I mean, it's like a break from the normal interview style vibes. I just kind of wanted to chat with a bud. So, who better than Freddie Atlas?
Yay.
Yay! Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Talk to us in the comment section. Do something. Help me out. I don't know. Recommend this channel. Do stuff. Bye.
Work on my Cash App.
Work on my Cash App.
My Venmo is. My PayPal is.
Bye.
Excuse-moi, je t'entends pas. Ouh, là, là, oh.